Overthinking, the trap you can escape. Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head 1,000 times, obsessing over what you should have said? Or maybe you've stared at a decision so long it feels like your brain is buffering. Forever? If that sounds like you, you're not alone. You're in the grip of something millions of us struggle with: overthinking. What is the overthinking trap? Overthinking is like getting stuck in mental quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. You replay situations, overanalyze every detail, and worry about outcomes that haven't even happened yet. And what's worse, it tricks you into thinking you're being productive, when in reality, you're just running laps in a hamster wheel. Think about it. You get invited to a gathering and suddenly, panic. What to wear, what to say, what if it's awkward? So you overthink and end up not going. Opportunity missed. Or you're working on a project, but instead of making progress, you're obsessing over font choices or the perfect sentence. Hours go by, stress piles up, and the task? Still unfinished. Now multiply that over weeks, months, even years. That's the cost of overthinking. Missed chances, stunted growth, burnout. But here's the truth. Overthinking isn't a personality trait. It's a habit. And just like any habit, it can be broken. Understanding the roots of overthinking. Let's talk about what's feeding this monster. First, perfectionism. That sneaky little voice saying, if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. It turns creativity into a minefield. Instead of trying, you hesitate. Instead of starting, you stall. Perfectionism makes progress feel impossible. Then there's the fear of failure. Oh yes, the "what if I mess this up" soundtrack that plays on loop. Fear hijacks our courage. It convinces us that inaction is safer than risk. But in reality, inaction is the real danger. And let's not forget the ringleader of the overthinking circus, negative self-talk. That inner critic that whispers, "You're not good enough. You always screw this up. Why even try?" It's harsh. It's constant. And worst of all, it feels like truth, but it's not. So how do we stop this cycle? Stick around, because in the next part, we'll dive into the tools that can break this loop and help you reclaim your mental clarity and confidence. Breaking free. Practical strategies. All right, so now that we've pulled the curtain back on overthinking, it's time to do something radical. It's time to take your power back. Let's start with one of the most underrated superpowers you already have: mindfulness. Yeah, I know it gets thrown around a lot, but hear me out. Mindfulness isn't about chanting mantras on a mountaintop. It's about noticing your thoughts without getting pulled into their drama. Like sitting by a river and watching leaves float by instead of chasing each one downstream. Next time your mind starts spiraling, pause. Breathe in, slowly. Exhale. Feel your feet on the floor. You're here, now, not in some imagined catastrophe. You just interrupted the overthinking loop, and that's a win. Pair that with meditation, even just 5 minutes a day, and you're literally rewiring your brain. Studies show it increases gray matter in areas tied to emotional regulation and decision-making. Translation? You become less reactive, more focused, and way calmer under pressure. Now let's talk action. Overthinking loves to keep you in thinking mode. So the antidote? Action mode. Here's the trick. Start small. Ridiculously small. Don't try to finish the novel. Write one paragraph. Don't plan your entire business launch. Send one email. Because action kills anxiety. It cuts off overthinking at the root. The minute you start, clarity shows up. And when your brain starts throwing shade, this isn't good enough. What if it fails? That's where cognitive restructuring steps in. It's like mental judo. Take the negative thought, flip it, and challenge it. Oh no, I'm not ready for this presentation. I've prepared, I care, I'll do my best, and that's more than enough. It's not toxic positivity. It's training your mind to fight fair. You don't need to silence the overthinking voice. You just need to turn the volume down and choose which voice you listen to. Harnessing the power of overthinking in moderation. Here's the twist. Overthinking isn't always the villain. When you direct it, when you harness it, it becomes a strength. Because deep thinkers can also be master planners. Use that analytical brain for strategic planning. Want to start a side hustle? Let yourself brainstorm. Explore scenarios. Consider consequences. But give it structure. Put a time limit on the thinking phase, then move into action. Overthinking also shines when it comes to creative problem solving. Ever had a random idea hit you in the shower because you couldn't stop turning a problem over in your head? That's your brain doing backflips in the background. Don't shut it down, guide it. And let's not forget resilience. Overthinkers tend to be hyper-aware, which means you're usually more attuned to what went wrong. That stings, but it also means you're better positioned to learn, adapt, and bounce back. So instead of seeing your overthinking as a curse, what if you saw it as a compass? One that just needs a little recalibration to point you toward clarity, not chaos? Overthinking doesn't define you. But how you respond to it? That can redefine you. Living a more fulfilled life. So, what does life look like when you finally break free from the overthinking trap? Imagine this. You wake up without that familiar pit of anxiety in your stomach. You feel more present, more grounded. Decisions come with more ease, not second-guessed into oblivion. You're not stuck in a spiral of what-ifs. You're moving, acting, living. Increased productivity and success? That's not a stretch, it's a natural outcome. Because when you stop spinning your wheels in indecision, you gain momentum. You become the person who gets things done. You take the meeting, you write the book, you pitch the idea. You create. And when you create, you win. But beyond productivity, let's talk about something even deeper. Peace. Peace from the mental noise. Freedom from perfectionism's grip. Space to laugh more, be more curious, to be more you. That's where happiness lives. Not in over-planning, not in over-analyzing every conversation, but in presence, in action, in knowing that you're growing and that growth is more than enough. And with that shift comes something beautiful, a growth mindset. Suddenly, mistakes aren't the end of the world, they're stepping stones. Feedback becomes fuel. You stop fearing failure and start inviting it because you know that on the other side is wisdom, strength, and expansion. This is how you reclaim your mind. This is how you reclaim your life. Final takeaway and call to action. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one area of your life where overthinking is stealing your joy, your energy, your potential. Just one. Now do something small but meaningful today. Micro action. A baby step. Whether it's journaling your thoughts, meditating for 5 minutes, sending that email, or making that call, break the cycle. Show your brain that you run the show, not your fears. And if those old thoughts creep back in, and they will, smile. Because now you know how to meet them. Not with panic, but with presence. You're not broken. You're just caught in a loop. But the beautiful truth is, loops can be rewritten. So take a deep breath, shake it off, and step into the version of yourself who acts, who grows, and who refuses to be held hostage by a racing mind. Because freedom? It starts with one courageous thought. I'm done overthinking. I'm ready to live. Let's go.